Good evening, everyone. I am very happy to welcome you all on behalf of IPNet North. I request Mr. Sandeep Chitkara to present his welcome address. Mr. Sandeep.
Yes, please. Hello, good evening, everyone. It is my pleasure to welcome all you all to today's webinar on unlocking the power of information utility, a practical guide for insolvency professionals. So we are incredibly fortunate to have a distinguished panel of guests and speakers who will help us make this session both insightful and thought-provoking. So first, I would like to extend a special welcome to our chief guest, Shri Devajiti Rai Chaudhary. He is actually Managing Director and CEO of National E-Governance Services Limited. Your presence today, sir, your presence today truly elevates this event, and we are eager to learn from your vast experience and insights. So we are also thrilled to have with us Mr. Arvinthan S.E. as our esteemed keynote speaker, and a heartfelt thanks goes to Shri Ashish Makija, our IPNet president, whose leadership and vision continue to propel this platform forward. IPNet has quickly evolved into a cornerstone for insolvency professionals across India. It has become much more than a network. It's a vibrant community where professionals come together to exchange knowledge, tackle challenges, and grow in their careers. So here at IPNet, we are committed to meeting. So here at IPNet, we are committed to meeting the critical needs of IPs, including continuous learning to expand your expertise, timely, reliable advice on matters related to insolvency and bankruptcy code, IBC, a powerful forum to voice concerns and find practical, actionable solutions. So in response to these needs, IPNet offers several standout features, which are specialized study groups that engage in ongoing knowledge sharing, webinars and discussions on the latest industry developments, and finally, a dedicated member portal, so providing easy access to resources that address all your professional needs at one place. For those of you who are already part of IPNet, I thank you for your continued support. For anyone who has not yet joined, I encourage you to become a member of this dynamic community. The membership link is available in the chat, and we look forward to having you with us. Once again, I thank you all for being here and contributing to what promises to be an enriching and rewarding session. Welcome to all.
Thank you, Sandeep ji.
And it's over to Tina.
Thank you, Sandeep ji. Now I'll request IP Rashmi for IPNet video introduction.
In the fast-evolving world of insolvency and bankruptcy, professionals need more than just knowledge. They need a strong network, continuous support, and a unified voice. As the challenges of the insolvency profession grow, so does the need for a platform where professionals can come together, share their experiences, and find collective solutions. That's why IPNet was formed. Promoted by Transition, IPNet is more than just a network. It's a mission to unite insolvency professionals across India, empowering them with the tools, knowledge, strong leadership, and community support they need to excel. Our purpose is simple: to create a cohesive community of insolvency professionals that stands strong together, advocates for their interests, and drives excellence in every aspect of the profession. At IPNet, we believe in continuous learning and collaboration. Our activities are designed to ensure that every member stays ahead in their field. From specialized study groups that dive deep into critical topics like CIRP, compliances, and many more, to webinars and workshops that bring the latest insights right to your screen, IPNet is your gateway to professional growth. Backed by Transition, a leader in insolvency training and resources, IPNet is committed to promoting the interests of insolvency professionals. Our goal is to ensure that every IP, no matter where they are, has access to the best resources, strong leadership, and a network that truly understands their needs. Join us in this mission to build a stronger, smarter, and more connected community of insolvency professionals. Together, we can overcome challenges, shape the future of the profession, and make a lasting impact. IPNet, National Network for Insolvency Professionals in India.
Rashmi? Hello. Yes, Rashmi. I request IP Rashmi to introduce our chief guest, Debajit Rai Chaudhary, MD and CEO, NESL.
Thank you, Tina. It's a privilege to give introduction of
Rashmi,
sir.
can you please switch on your camera?
Sorry, Tina. There's some confusion in my video. It is not operating, so I have just logged in with another thing also. Wait, just a minute. I'll do one thing.
No, Rashmi, you go ahead. I think we can see your picture in other video and voice from the other. So you're okay. Okay. Go ahead.
Yes, yes.
And friends, in the meantime, may I request everyone to please open their videos because our chief guest is there. Speakers are also there. I think it's always better to see smiling faces and interact with each other. Great.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Sir. Thank you.
You've spoken my mind. Ashish ji, you've spoken my mind.
Right. Rashmi,
Thank
you can
you,
go.
sir. Yes, sir. Just hold on. Hello.
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 Yeah, we can
Yes,
hear you.
Rashmi, you are audible and visible both. Please continue.
Just hold on.
I think she is muted.
Hello. Now I'm audible.
Yeah,
Yes,
Rashmi,
yes.
Yes, you are audible. Please continue.
where you please go ahead.
Yeah. Sir is an MBA from the Faculty of Management Studies, Delhi, and certified associate of the Indian Institute of Bankers. He's a passionate leader with a long track record of successfully managing assignments of a diverse nature. He's serving as a managing director and CEO of National Government Services Limited for the last 3 years. Immediately prior to joining NESL, Sir was a chief general manager in the IBBI, where he took some path-breaking initiatives like the implementation of the company's registered valuer and valuation rules, 2017. His articles on issues related to insolvency have been published in reputed publications or national newspapers, and he has been a speaker in numerous seminars and workshops relating to corporate insolvency and also in educational institutions like the NLUs. Prior to joining IBBI, Sir was at the corporate office of India's largest bank, SBI, where he was responsible for compliance and risk and implementation of the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code at its largest business vertical. Among his other assignments in SBI was the setting up SBI's Dubai operations as a highly profitable unit within a short span of time. As the CEO of SBI Dubai, he was much sought after by other Indian banks and also the India community for his views on issues like Indian economy, personal investment, trade flows, and exchange rates. He was conferred the Business Excellence and Innovative Best Practices Academic Awards 2020 by the New Delhi Institute of Management. Sri Rai Chaudhary's articles on issues related to insolvency have been published in reputed industry publications or national newspapers, and he has been a speaker in numerous seminars or workshops related to corporate insolvency and in educational institutions like the NLUs. Under his leadership, NESL has been accredited as the best innovation in RegTech at IFTA 2022, best RegTech solution at the BW 3rd edition of Festival of FinTech Awards 2023, and the Digital and FinTech Solution of the Year at the 2024 at the Dun & Bradstreet Award for Business Excellence Awards. In April 2024, Sri Debajyoti Roy Chaudhary was conferred the Leaders Award at the Big CIO Show and Awards 2024. A very heartwarming welcome to Sir. And now I pass on to Tina.
Thank you, Rashmi. Thank you. Now I would request our chief guest for his keynote address, for which all of us are waiting. Sir.
Okay. Thanks, Lina. And first of all, thank you, IPNet, and thank you, Ashish Makhija ji, for having us here and also giving us the opportunity to present on such a powerful theme, unlocking the power of the information utility. At the outset, I would say that IPs are very, very close to my heart. And that's why I really appreciate this initiative of IPNet. It's a very nice video which was made, which heard at the beginning. When I joined IBBI in 2018, so in IBBI, we had a very unique privilege of regulating two different types of professionals, the IPs and the registered valuers. And we thought that why not have some of the good features in one set of professions, we could adopt it in the other set of professions. So immediately after joining in 2018, we introduced this pre-registration educational course. Of course, the contents were slightly different and the manner of administering it was also slightly different, but the concept was basically the same. In the case of the IPs, it was basically focused on practical issues related to insolvency profession, because insolvency profession was relatively new at that point of time, and had very happy memories of bumping into Makhijaji during the course of these. This is not coming up, is it? Well, so and this first PREC session we did in we started the circular was issued sometime in 2018, and since then I'm so attached to this that even now, despite my very busy schedule, I try to do these sessions. The last one I did around 2-3 months back. When COVID came, it was a huge challenge for us, and we were wondering that how we should do these sessions. So from IBBI, we issued the circular that we can do it through the online mode. And very interestingly, this online mode became so popular that even after we came out of COVID, this online mode continued. Because in the earlier classroom mode, there was one drawback that often the sessions would not be held at the center where the prospective IP was located. Another hesitation with the IPs then began when in IPBI, I was involved in the first ever inspection of an insolvency professional. There was some time in 2018. Subsequently, I was involved in many inspections of IPs, and it was a learning experience, both for me as well as the insolvency professional. I remember in one case, the insolvency professional told me that, sir, why didn't you come earlier? We have benefited so much for this inspection, because in the earlier days, our intent was also to educate and also to get the market feedback. In one case, I remember, and we saw the COC minutes of an IP, and certain adverse features were mentioned.
Buy one get one, tha na?
So then we told the IP that, look, this will go against you. And of course, I will not advise this now. That was way back in 2018. So the IP immediately went back to the COC members and came back and revised the minutes and showed it to me. So then I accepted that also. Then another interesting case I happened in one of the inspections, which I found that an IP, as you know, all claims are frozen as on the ICD, inspection commencement date. But in one case of IP, it was large steel plant, and there was one critical supply, and which had related to issues related to employee safety. So the supplier said, unless you pay all my past dues, I am not going to make any supplies. So that IP had to pay, and then when it came to a notice, we examined this issue, and subsequently 14(2)(a) of the code came in, where the IP, if circumstances warrant, can, with the approval of the A, make preferential payment to certain suppliers. So it was a very, very interesting experience for me. I benefited a lot from the experiences of IPs, and subsequently this went into, because as we often say, IBC is a living law. It has been amended multiple times. The regulations, of course, there are so many changes even now. So many of these experiences which I learned from my inspection, we are able to implement by way of regulations, of course, and in many cases by amendments in the code also. Now, we talked many times about the achievements of the IBC. we talk about various things like recovery to financial creditors and the behavioral change. But I would like to tell in this community of IPs that, and I've spoken about this in other fora also, I feel that one of the biggest achievements of the IBC is the creation of a new class of professionals called the insolvency professionals. I think that is one of the big contribution of the IBC and the new class of professionals, the IP has come into force, come into being. Now, what are the IPs achieved? I mean, of course, it has been spoken at various forums, but I'd just like to dwell on a few aspects. IPs from the beginning had numerous challenges because this was a relatively new profession. I remember in the initial days when IP was arrested, many IPs had FIRs against them, and when they could not take possession of the CD and they wanted to register FIRs, those FIRs were not registered. So they had numerous challenges. But in all this, the face of all these challenges, so IPs have delivered. And this is there in the results. I mean, we all know that IBC is one of the most effective forms of resolution. These are data and these are facts. We have the case of SR Steel, where the highest ever production of the company of the CD was achieved during the time the IP was in charge. And we had this very complex case of JP Infratech, and there were so many, an amendment to the code had to be made to resolve the issues. There were many home buyers. There were personal issues there. Many home buyers had put in their money. They were not getting the flats. And there were so many legal issues. There were issues related to Section 43 preferential transactions. But after all this, we did have a resolution. And I was seeing this newsletter, which gives the resolution of these 12 large accounts, which went into CIP subsequent to notification by RBI. In GP Infratech is one of the few cases where the resolution value was 100% of the claim. So although it came after a long time, more than 2000 days, but in this case, the resolution value was more than the number of claims. And this is as per the IPPA newsletter. So these are all the achievements of IPs. But I would say the biggest achievement of IPs is that they have saved lives. They have saved lives because every CD rescued through resolution plan, besides recovery, it is also jobs which are saved. And when you save a livelihood of a person, you actually save a life. So IPs have actually saved lives. And I understand this more because when I was in IBBI, I used to get many emails, many requests from employees of firms which went to liquidation. They had not got the salaries for months and years. So when a CD goes into resolution, besides all the attendant benefits, like the payment to the suppliers, the repayment of dues of creditors, even the government has opportunity to recover dues when the company survives. Going forward, if it survives, only then it can pay dues. But the biggest achievement, biggest success of the IPs is that when they saved all these CDs, when the CDs came back into production, came back into lives, and livelihoods have been saved. So it is that IPs have actually saved lives. Now, today's session is about the information utility and National E-Governance Services registered as an information utility. We have completed more than 5 years of existence. And we started the new year, and this was published on my LinkedIn profile also. Our motto for 2025 is CTS, LTS, Fortius community. It means that faster, higher, and stronger as a team, as a group, as a company. So whatever we've done so far, our objective, our motto for 2025 is we will strive to better. And we are extremely grateful for the feedback. We always value feedback. I was sent the feedback sent by various professionals on various issues. And I'm again grateful to IPNet for giving us this opportunity, because for all these issues, we will give a detailed point-wise response. But my request is, whenever you speak about us, please let us know if you have any specific issues. Because if I have any specific issues, only then I can respond. Now, if you tell me in a rating that I am not good, this is not good, that service is not bad, this thing, such general issues I cannot respond. If you have any specific issues, and like you have been very kind enough to give to us, we will give a response. And I'm very happy to this IPNet to have sent us this advance. So we'll be very happy to clarify and give a response to all these issues. And after my session, we have a detailed presentation, and subsequently I'll be back for the question and answer session to supplement and address any issue which you have with you. Let me tell you that we are a regulated entity. Like IPs are regulated by IBBI, NESL is also regulated by IBBI. And it's broadly said that IBC has 4 pillars, and these are, of course, the IP is a fulcrum of the process. Then we have IBBI, and we have the AA, NCLTs, and INCLAD, and the 4th pillar is actually the information utility. So information utility is integral part of the IBC, and IBBI has an elaborate process right from the time of laying down the conditions of registration. What should be the shareholding pattern? What should be the composition of the governing board? So all these are there in the regulations, and IBBI monitors this. We have a monthly meeting, we have an annual inspection. So we are under close regulation and supervision by a regulator, which is IBBI. But notwithstanding that, over and above the fact that we are a regulated entity, we also have very high standards of corporate governance. So we are promoted by very reputed banks. We have 17 shareholders. They are the leading public sector, private sector banks, insurance companies. We have a depository also. So they are all very large reputed entities, and we have a very strong board, and we practice transparency in various matters. Our grievances are published on our website. Our balance sheet is published on the website. So we follow very high standards of governance and transparency. Also, I would like to say that in 2018, we started from scratch. But today, we have a very large database. We have more than 4 crore submitters of information. I was seeing that some IPs have had some difficulty in submitting information. So we'll be extremely happy to address this, and we are always available. So let me tell you, 4 crore their submitters records have been submitted. There are more than 2,000 banks and NBFCs who have submitted information. And we have a large operations team which is always on the toe, and it's generally on the work to address grievances within 24 hours of receipt. And every call which is made to our call center has a ticket number, so we can monitor for the resolution. And besides 4 crore records, we have almost 2 crore, more than 2 crore debtors in respect of whom the information is there with us. And we have more than 20 lakh debtors who have actually come to a platform and registered. So they have actually registered with us. So in fact, one of the feedback which I got was that IPs have challenges in registering with us. But I really am very sorry about that, but there are 20 lakh people who are already registered. So we'll be happy to address any issues we have, any fundamental issues we will address during the seminar, and we are always there. The seminar is for 2 hours, but we are always there. Now, one more thing I would like to tell you about NESL is that we have a much larger vision for the industry, for the country. So we have various new initiatives, like we have a digital document execution, which is the first in the country. For the first time, you can execute a document through the digital mode seamlessly, anytime, anywhere. And sometimes even you can execute a document even for abroad. And for this, we have taken APIs from state governments for procurement of stamp duty. And this document is legally valid. Similarly, we have the electronic bank guarantee, which has been launched in association with the Indian Banks Association. So this marks a paradigm shift in the way bank guarantees are issued in this country. And this has huge benefits for the industry at large and for the country's progress towards increased digitization. And we have many other new initiatives which are going to gradually come. And these initiatives also have relevance for the insolvency ecosystem. It's not that we are moving away. It is just that our focus is on the larger ecosystem just to have scale, because you need scale to develop infrastructure, to make investments. But it is only for that purpose that we are investing the larger financial service ecosystem. But each of these applications, whether it's digital document execution or electronic banking, these have use in the insolvency ecosystem. So today, for example, IBBI says that if you want a record of default from the information utility, you need to submit documents. Submission of scanned documents is a challenge. But today we have a digital document execution. Documents can flow seamlessly from the information utility at the time of record of default. And this will really help in issuing record of default and make it easier for any person to obtain a record of default. We also have received multiple recognitions for industry, for our initiatives, for the new products which we have launched for the benefit of financial services. One last bit I would like to say, in fact, recently many of us would have read, and it was that there was an article in, I think, one of the financial newspapers, maybe it was ET or Financial Express, and it was co-authored by Ashish Makhijaji and Dr. M.S. Saud. And this article talked about celebrating failure. I mean, there's something which is not very usual. You only celebrate success. But this article talked about how celebrating failure is important. And it also talked about how Thomas Edison tried for 1,000 times till he got success in getting an electric bulb. And essentially, this article said that insolvency also needs to be extended to the smaller enterprises. As of now, it's only for corporates. This article especially stressed that insolvency needs to be extended to smaller enterprises who need most, and also to encourage entrepreneurship, which is there in the preamble of the IBC. So I would like to tell all of you, and of course, Makhijaji, who's the author of this, is the core of the article, that NESL, we are prepared, because we have data of individuals, we have data of non-corporates. So we are prepared. If at all it is notified, sections relating to non-corporates or individuals, we at NESL are ready for it. Now to conclude, because this session is about IPs. So this part I'll just devote to IPs, because IPs might feel that, look, you've spoken about various things, but what is in it for me? And we have a detailed presentation also, but I will just broadly sum up in at least 4 areas you can definitely use the services of the information. In fact, often we use the word market infrastructure institution, and it just refers to various institutions under the securities market. but I call the IU as a NII, for National Infrastructure Institution. So information utility is an institution of national importance. It is a national resource, and it is there for the IPs to use. Most of our services for IPs do not have any cost attached to it. So please I request you to use the services. And now I'll just briefly elaborate on what are the areas you can use. So firstly, you would have seen the statements of Honorable Finance Minister and sometime earlier our Honorable Prime Minister also, that more than 28,000 CRP applications, now the number could be slightly more, that applications for CRP actually withdrawn before even admission took place. So information utility can help in that, because once an operational creditor files an information or default with the IU, and the process is extremely simple. We'll give a live demonstration of the process. The process is extremely simple. Once you do it, the debtor will get a request for authentication or default, and we'll give you 5 scenarios. In all these scenarios, the operational creditor is highly likely that he's likely to get paid for it. And if he does, even if he doesn't get before initiation of insolvency, as you've seen that many of these applications get withdrawn even after admission. So that is the first way it can help, that even before insolvency, if you use the information utility, and OC can use, if you can help facilitate an OC in filing an application for information or default, this could actually help him recover the money, and you could actually be doing a service for a small company which is unable to recover its claims. The second part is verification of claims. So as an IP, when the claims come to you and you would like to know about the claims, and other part is sometimes claims come up later, and then it becomes a legal issue for us that whether we take this claim. Sometimes claims come after filing of the resolution plan. So if you have access to the IU, you can see who are the creditors. If somebody has not filed a claim, you can actually take it up with him for filing of claims with the IU. So later on, legal issues can be preempted. The third area is recovery of debtors. So you have many challenges when you are in a CD that many debtors do not pay up, especially when you know the company is into insolvency. So there again, you can use the resources, the facility of the IU. Charges here are extremely nominal. It's I think 60 rupees per filing of information. You can use that, and it's fairly likely that after he gets a debtor gets a request for authentication information, he may like to come up and settle with the creditor. And one final aspect, and which is also equally important, I earlier spoke about the electronic bank guarantee facility of NESL, which we have launched. It can help you in many ways, because recently we found that, as you know, as part of resolution plan, we have to submit a EBG. So in one case, in at least 2 cases, we found that the EBG was subsequently found to be fraudulent. So if you have an electronic bank guarantee, you can actually access and verify the EBG for yourself and see for yourself whether it's genuine. And this is a problem which we are having in the industry, where verification of EBGs becomes a challenge. So NESL's EBG resolves this issue where the EBG can be verified. So if you use the EBG, verification of the same can be easily done. I think that is all from my side. I thank again Shri Makhija and IPNet, and I wish this group of professionals all the best. I have to leave for another meeting, but I'll be back in say half an hour, 45 minutes, and I'll be very happy. Not just me, my team will of course be there to answer any queries, but I'll definitely be there after some time to attend and see that all queries are attended to the satisfaction of all the participants. Thank you once more.
Thank you, sir. We express gratitude on behalf of IPNet. And once you are back, sir, our IP Jalesh Global will offer you memento and thanks speech also. So when you will be back, sir, you have 2 minutes time, sir. Can we continue with the thank you message and momentum?
Yeah. 2 minutes I can do. 2 minutes.
I would request IP Jalesh Grover to express gratitude on behalf of IPNet and offer a memento to our chief guest.
Yeah.
Mr. Grover?
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, sir. It is my privilege to extend a heartfelt vote of thanks to our esteemed chief guest, Shri Debujyoti Ray Chaudhary, MD and CEO of NESL, for gracing today's webinar organized by IPNet team. Your words of wisdom and encouragement have added immense value to our event and inspired us all to strive for excellence in unlocking the power of information utility. We are truly honored, sir, that you take time of your busy schedule to be with us today. Your insights and perspective have not only elevated the quality of this webinar, but also motivated us to think beyond boundaries. On behalf of IPNet and all the participants, I express my deepest gratitude for your support and for making this event memorable. A sincere thanks to all the participants also for their active involvement and to the organizing team for their hard work in ensuring the success of this webinar. Let us all give a round of applause and a memento to our chief guest, Shri Debujyoti Ray Chaudhary, as a token of appreciation from IPNet. Thank you all and wishing everyone a wonderful day ahead.
Yes, Mr. Chitkara, can you show the memento, please?
Yes, is it visible?
No, it is not. Yes, now it is visible. Devajit Ray Chaudhary, sir, thank you, sir.
Yes.
It is a small
Thank you.
expression of gratitude from our side, and we are very happy and enlightened after hearing you. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'll be there after some time. This webinar is till what time?
Till 6 p.m., sir.
Till 6 p.m. So after about an hour, I'll be back. By the time
Thank you, sir. Most welcome
the Q&As
again.
are taken. So I'll definitely.
Please accept this token of appreciation, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Now I would request IP Sandeep Chitkara to introduce our speaker, Mr. Arivinthan S.E.
Yes, please. Yes. So, speaking about the profile of Mr. Arvindhan S.E. So, Mr. Arvindhan S.E. So he's a IBBI registered insolvency professional, and he's from the foundation batch of postgraduate insolvency program conducted by Indian Institute of Corporate Affairs. So he also holds a degree in mechanical engineering and an MBA in finance. He is currently serving as the senior officer in National E-Governance Services Limited and is responsible for the platform for distressed assets vertical, which provides comprehensive digital solutions to assist IRPs, RPs, and liquidators in managing their assignments effectively. Welcome, Mr. Arvindhan. Basically, platform is yours.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Thank you.
welcome, sir. Welcome. We are all waiting for your keynote address and PPTs.
Thank you very much, ma'am. So, first of all, I would like to thank IPNet and Dr. Ashish Makija, sir, for this opportunity, and also the senior management of NESL, our MD, sir, and all department heads basically were present yesterday. We spent about an hour or so to discuss on the issues raised pre-session only. Usually during the session we would be taking up questions from the participants and answering them, and this is first of a kind that we received the questions before the session, so it allowed us to be prepared and work in that manner. So I would like to thank the senior management also, our compliance head, our operations head, and our legal head, everyone who took part in making the presentation. So allow me to present the PPT now. Yeah, I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, visible.
Oh,
We have made you co-host.
okay. So this presentation would be on the topic Unlocking the Power of Information Utility, a practical guide for insolvency professionals. So this would basically, I would take about 30 to 40 minutes to, go over the presentation, which would highlight how the information utility can be of help to the insolvency professionals, and also The ways and means, like as the issues were, the list of issues which are being faced by the IPs were shared yesterday. So basis that, a request was also made for a small demonstration of Form C, that is the information submission by the IPs. So that will also be a part of this presentation. So let me begin with our Honorable PM's address at 90 years of RBI event, which happened on April. So during his address, he had highlighted that the IBC has resolved loans amounting to 3.25 lakh crore rupees, and more than 27,000 applications involving defaults of more than 9 lakh crores were resolved even before admission under IBC. So this is where I want to highlight the information utilities role as a provider of record of default, that even prior to admission of cases into CARP, uh, I'll be highlighting the cases, scenarios in which the corporate data get no, settle the defaults with the applicants, and how they uh, uh, try to try avoid getting into CARP admission, and settling of the cases. And also the gross NPAs of banks were around 11.25 in 2018, which came down to below 3% by September 2023. So this highlights the efficiency of IBC. And also to speak about NESL's shareholding pattern, NESL was incorporated in 2016, and the major shareholding is held by public sector banks, and we have 16 shareholders, out of which 12 are public sector and private sector banks, 3 insurance companies, and 1 depository. So basically, while listing out how IU can service the insolvency professionals, we were able to list out the services to the following: that is, filing of financial information against the data, and initiation of CARP application, how IU can assist in initiation of CARP application, and also formation of COC, even before members of the COC submitting the claims, how an IP can get an idea of who are all the creditors of this corporate data. And also after receiving claims from the creditors, how IU can help in the verification of claims. We also have a provision to see the credit facility reports of individual debtors, and we have a facility of e-bank guarantee and digital document execution as well, which I will be highlighting in the forthcoming slides. So to highlight the uniqueness of information utility, let me just go through the schematic workflow on how an information utility works. So a creditor first submits an debt information, a standard information with the NESL, wherein NESL accepts and sends authentication request to the debtor. So the debtor then has the opportunity to either authenticate or dispute the information, which would again send back to the information utility. Upon receiving such information of either authentication or dispute raised by the debtor, a confirmation on the information about the authentication status made by the debtor is sent back to the creditor again. So this is how the information submission and authentication takes place at the information utility. Upon such informations being stored, the IRP or RP is also given an access to view the debt information across all creditors to that particular data. And also, we have a provision wherein the IPR and RP can upload documents relating to the insolvency process in the IU. And we also have the option to generate reports which can be submitted to IBBA adjudicating authorities, etc. So why this two-way approach? A duty is cast under section 214 of the code on IUs to accept financial information from FCs and OCs, and to consequently get the information authenticated by all concerned parties before storing the information. So getting authentication by all concerned parties ensures that the information available with the IU does not only reflect the creditor's version, but also the borrower's intervention, so thereby making them an equal stakeholder in the process. It should not be like only the submitter is submitting the information for which the debtor or the borrower is not able to dispute or put his remarks against those submission. To maintain a two-way information from both the creditor side and the borrower side, this has been the two-way workflow has been created, and an equal opportunity to the borrower to either authenticate or the dispute is being given to make them an active participant in the credit ecosystem. And to list down the unique features of the information utility, every submitter has a valid identification. Only then they get the opportunity to register and submit the information with IU. All submissions or response to any information submitted carry a digital signature, and this provides for authentication by all concerned parties of the debt, even guarantors, co-borrowers, co-applicants, anyone. All concerned parties have the opportunity to provide their information regarding the authentication of information. And all information stored with IU has evidentiary value, and the IU gives access only to authorized persons. When there is a default and corporate data is into CARP, the case gets assigned to the insolvency professional, and the insolvency professional will have access to all the information of the data. In case of a standard account, the CD themselves can give access basis their consent. They can give access to their auditors and other employees of the organization to view their information. So IU allows access only to authorized person. No third party can view any information about any particular data. And also we have a provision for submission. We have a provision to allow non-regulated entities to submit the information also. And this is how the information workflow happens. So there might be multiple creditors to a single debtor, and every debtor, the unique identification number is their PAN number. So basis that all creditors with the PAN number, if they have the PAN number of the debtor, along with the loan record number, which follows the PAN record, they can submit the information in that format with the IU. And after submission, the debtor, after his registration, he will be able to view and authenticate the information. So all operational debts and financial debts captured in the same way. And the unique key point where the debtor gets mapped with multiple creditors, be it financial or operational, is through the PAN number of that entity. So all submissions happen through Form C. This Form C is prescribed by IPBI Information Utility Regulation, and it is a specific format mentioned as specified by IBBA in the regulations. So this Form C contains of 3 parts, where Part A has the details of submitter, debt information. If there are other parties to the debt, that will also be there, and documents. So upload of documents is optional, and Part B will carry the security details, whether any charge is created or is it registered with CERSAI. All the details that with respect to the security are in Part B. And Part C is default details. For standard accounts, Part C will not be there. So for default information submission, Part C would be mandatory. And all authentication of information submitted happen through Regulation 21 of Information Utility Regulations. So there are 2 types of information being submitted. One, the first one highlighted here, that is information submitted by all scheduled commercial banks. So in case the information is submitted by scheduled commercial banks, there are only 2 outcomes to that. Even if the debtor authenticates or there is no response, even after 3 such reminders to that information, it gets authenticated automatically. or if it is disputed by the debtor, it would be in the disputed category. Second category is information submitted by creditors who are not in the list of Schedule 2 of scheduled commercial banks. There are three outcomes to the information, the authentication mails sent to the debtors, where one is authenticated, where it is the information submitted is accepted by the debtor. Second is disputed by the debtor, and third is deemed to be authenticated. So deemed to be authenticated is a category where the debtor failed to respond to the first mail and also to the three subsequent reminder mails. Then it becomes deemed to be authenticated. So the process of email validation, which happens for authentication of information, is the very first email. We usually, the NASL sends information, default authentication mails to both primary and the secondary email ID, which is provided in the Form C by the submitter. If not, then we go to the registered email ID of the corporate data in NESL if they have registered, and third, the email provided in MCA. Now, the very first mail goes on day one when there is a submission of default information against that CD, initiating that an intimating that and default information has been submitted against your company. So every reminder carries a 7-day interval as per the latest August 13 amendments to the IU regulation. So the second reminder, after a whole 7 full days is given for them to respond, the reminder 1 goes on day 9. That would be considered as the first email for authentication request, and subsequent reminders are sent on day 17 and day 25, allowing 7 whole days for response to the corporate data. So ideally, after the third reminder, even if there is no response, and if there is a dispute raised or if it is authenticated, the ROD will be available for download at the end of day 32. So NESL not only makes sure that the email is sent, so we have to make sure the email is delivered, and also we keep a track of whether the email was opened or whether it has bounced, whether it is a soft bounce or hard bounce. Soft bounce in the case happens in which where the inbox is full, there is no storage for incoming messages. That is considered soft bounce. And in case of hard bounces, that email address is not present and it is not available anymore. So pending to be delivered, all the status of emails which are sent from the system are tracked, and it will all be part of the ROD which is being delivered. In case of email bounce, NESL will also send the information through an RPAD and track the status of the same as well. Then coming to the record of default, which is generated after the authentication process, this just like Form C, Form D also is specified in the information utility regulation, and these are all the contents of ROD. So ROD will have the details of debt, date of default, and quantum of debt. That is the quantum of debt and default. So all the information which are required by the adjudicating authority to evaluate and provide for an admission of any Section 7, 9, or 10 case, we will be able to provide all the information with respect to admission with the ROD. Also, it contains the security details. If there is any existence of dispute, that also gets recorded there. And also the status of authentication is provided in the ROD. And as I've told, this list will also be annexed by the details of communication made to the CDs and concerned party about the status of the emails, whether it was delivered, opened, or bounced, whatever is there. All the details of communication, timestamp wise, gets recorded, and it will be part of the ROD generated. And this Form D is also a digitally signed document, so it carries evidentiary value. And this is how a sample ROD would look like. The first page of ROD, a Form D, would look like this, which will clearly have the status of authentication highlighted, either in a green, red, or yellow. green and red only in case of the information is submitted by a scheduled commercial bank. So Form D has the details of the submitter, what is the category of the submitter, name of the debtor, unique identifier number, that is the PAN number and the loan record number combined, and the total outstanding amount, default amount, and the date of default. This is the format in which Form D is generated and shared, and the annexures will have the subsequent communications, other security details, and everything. One second, if there is any question, we can take up.
Hello, sir. Good evening.
Yes.
I'm insolvency professional from Hyderabad.
Yes.
I have a doubt with respect to authentication of the default. Now, can the creditors give the information to NESL after the insolvency commencement date? Will their debt outstanding be after the insolvency commencement date, or it should be as on insolvency commencement date?
It should be as on insolvency commencement date, as you know very well that upon admission, section 14 gets moratorium is in place, right? So it should be as on insolvency commencement date only. But in some cases, there might be some creditors who are submitting information for cases which are in CARP and also in liquidation. In that cases, you can write to us, wherein we will communicate to the creditors if they are registered with us. We will communicate to the registrars that this case is already in CARP or liquidation. So fresh submissions need not be allowed from this case. So we have made such requests earlier, and also we have made submissions to be stopped there.
Okay, one more thing, sir. Now, how frequently these bankers will submit the information to NESL? We have been receiving several emails. Apart from this reminder mails, I have been receiving several emails from each of the creditor.
Yes, yes.
How frequently it happens?
Every creditor is supposed to update all the loan details, debt records every month before the 7th day of the start of every month. So monthly there will be update in the information, even if there is a small change in the interest component or duration, any principal amount. So you will be getting intimations every month. So that is how the regulations say that the financial creditors have to submit and update the information every month.
Okay, having just now discussed about the moratorium, how
Yes.
can there be a change after the insolvency commencement date? If what is the requirement of every month submissions?
So the submission happens automatically from the backend. So every bank's core banking system gets integrated, and they submit it automatically. So it might not have been updated in their system that this case is admitted, or is it in CARP or liquidation. So that is why we would request you to communicate to us that this case is in CARP or liquidation, so that we can communicate to the creditor and halt the submissions there.
Any specific mail ID to communicate this? Because in my case is also like liquidation is also over,
Yes,
and the company has been sold as a going concern. Now I am getting email from NESL regarding any XYZ banker has again registered their claim. Okay, help desk.
yes.
Thank you.
You can send a mail to helpdesk@nesl.co.in, where they will be attending to your queries.
And
One small last request. Now, I have been receiving the reminder mails from each of the creditors several times. Then that reminders crossed third, and debt has been authenticated by as a deemed authentication. Now, if I notice that it is after the CRP commencement date, is there any possibility for me to change the data now?
One second, ma'am. I would like to understand what would you like to change?
No. Now today I've come to know that creditors cannot give information after the insolvency commencement date.
It's not like cannot, they can, but it is of no value after the case is admitted, ma'am. So
Okay.
that
In case they have been sending the emails and by default after the third reminder, it's been accepted as a deemed authentication.
deemed to be authenticated, yes.
Deemed to be authenticated. Now, is there any possibility for me to change that deemed authentication?
No, ma'am. Because there would not be any implication for that information getting deemed to be authenticated at all. So the IPs need not worry about the status of information submitted of cases which are in CIRP or in liquidation, ma'am.
Okay.
So there would be no implication to that because all this information about the default is to get into the CIRP process only. Once that is solved, that happened. So anything after that will not carry any implication there.
Okay,
Sir.
now do I need to update to the NESL that this particular
You
company
can.
is under CIRP?
Yes, you can update it to us, for which I'm telling that we would speak with the creditor and update about the status of that case and ask them to mark it as closed.
Sir,
Okay.
as I, if correct me if I am wrong,
Yes.
the IP, is it mandatory for the IP to authenticate the claims of the creditors on NSEL?
Mm.
As I understand, it may not be so. In such a case, what is the purpose of NESL sending authentication mails to the IP after CIRP? Would that also, after 3 reminders, be treated as a deemed authentication?
Yes, ma'am. That is also treated as a deemed to be authenticated after 3 reminders because you would have created an account and that case wherein you are the RP or the liquidator would have got assigned to your name. So that is why the RP is getting all those reminder mails and the default mails for authentication there.
Sir,
Yes.
but in my case, I had not logged into the NSEL account. I was getting these email authentication requests suo moto without me creating an account with the NSEL. How is that so, and why is that so?
Priyanka ji, this is Suparna from NESL, and I would like to address this question. Basically, what happens is that when you are registering, you may not be registering yourself, but because you have taken the charge of the CD as the CEO, what happens is that whatever the NCA approved email ID is, or whatever the email ID on which the bank does its communications. So NESL is actually sending those the authentication emails to those email IDs. So that's the reason when you are taking the charge of the CD, and you are along with it, you are taking the charge of those email IDs also, and that's the reason you are receiving those emails. And it is better that if you have already initiated the CIRP, then you intimate us so that it becomes an easy work for us to intimate the bank on your behalf and advise them not to do any further submissions against it, because as it is, it's going to be under the moratorium.
So,
yes.
Sorry, madam. In this case, so do I understand, as I understand, that even if I am getting a mail because of the email getting panned from the MCA, that authentication does not necessarily mean that I've accepted the claim of the creditor. I do not have to take that to be an authenticated claim by the RP.
No, that's true. Your understanding is correct, ma'am.
And how do I intimate that it is under CIRP? The debtor is under CIRP?
Ma'am, in such a scenario, the authentication email that you are receiving, you can just means append that email, and along with it, you can send us the appointment letter, means the order that you get from the NCLT, and with that we would be informing the financial creditor.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
I think Mr. Vikram Kumar has some questions.
Yeah, I'm audible now, but
Yes, sir.
I'm
Very much audible.
Yeah.
Audible.
Suparna, good evening. I'm Vikram.
Very good evening, sir.
Okay. Yeah, good evening. So, my predecessor, insolvency professional, asked, I'm similar. I am the RP. I'm getting your emails. And why the RP so authenticated with editor?
Sir, your voice is
Sir,
completely
I would
breaking,
request
and
if
I
you can
think
type your question, because somewhere the voice is cracking.
yes. Miss Sandhya, you had some question, and Miss Maya, IP Maya. Hello.
Yes, ma'am. I have the similar questions as have been asked by the other IPs. I am also getting the similar emails from the NESL regarding authentication of their claim, as rightly pointed out by my colleagues as well, that if we cannot authenticate without submitting the claim form by that particular claimant before us. So unless and until we have the clear data along with the email, that what is the debt, when it has been taken care of, and who is a concerning person to whom we can contact for getting further information, how could we admit that claim? So in my suggestion submission is that I am basically getting such emails for past 3 to 4 years for authentication purpose as well. So in the reply mail itself, they should be provided certain data or some information relating to that, so that we can further communicate with the NESL as well. Because whenever I get an email from the NESL for authentication and I revert back, that email gets bounced back. So I request the NESL people that they should make it simplify, and as a layman, they should provide the process in the email itself, uh, the steps that need to be taken to get further information about that loan that is being asked for certification by the IP. Thank you.
Madam, another addition. What are the consequences of if I ignore the authentication mail sent from NSEL to the IP for CD under liquidation or CIRP? Is there any consequence on the RP?
Ma'am, if the CD is already under the CIRP, in such a scenario, authentication actually don't has any much of value. And that's the reason, so that like you are not bothered and bombarded with so many emails, because I understand that every month getting 4 emails against the same CD is definitely a pressure on the RP. So it would be always appreciated if we come to know that yes, you have been appointed and the CIRP has initiated, so that we can request the financial creditor not to update the records anymore.
And
Thank you.
what about suppose the company is already sold by the liquidator in my case, then also I am getting authentication mails. And if it
Yeah.
is deemed authenticated, what will be the repercussion on the buyer?
Yes, ma'am. In such a scenario, what happens is, if there is a resolution plan, if there is a successful resolution plan, or if there is a liquidation order, even if you are supplementing us with those information, we are able to take it up with the creditors. Because there has been cases where there has been successful resolution plans being approved and have been implemented, but in spite of that, there has been like the updations going on, and the new management, they have like raised up the queries. Okay, like, why are we getting it, or we have already resolved? So in such a scenario, we are just asking for those order copies, and we are coordinating it with the FCs. So you can always take us as the bridge between the creditors and yourself, and we are there to help you.
Thank you. Mr. Balasubramaniam, sir, you have some question, please?
Yeah, ma'am. Actually, in one of our case, we got a ROD, but the problem is the borrower CD name is something else, but the details, other details are correct. The bank account number as well as the PAN number are correct. But the problem is the borrower CD name is something else. So how to address this issue, madam?
Sir, in such a scenario, if you can please give us the details of that CD, we will just check it up, because many a times it happens that the company undergoes some name change or something. Maybe that the bank changes it at their end, but they do not inform us. So whatever the PAN number is, with that the same old name continues. So if you have any query, means case like that, you can please share that to us, and we will address it.
Right, ma'am. Actually, that is name is GVNA LLP. That is hospital.
I
But
think you addressed that email today
yeah, yeah,
itself,
ma'am.
because you
Yeah, yeah,
wanted
yeah,
some
ma'am.
CA funds, right?
Yeah, ma'am. Please, ma'am. Because
Yes, ma'am.
we already.
Yes, we have already taken it up with Karur Vaisya, and we
Yeah,
are
yeah, please.
taking care of it. Yeah, we will
Yeah,
respond.
thank you, ma'am. Yeah.
Madam, one question. In Form
Arvind,
C,
madam, 1 second, madam.
yes,
Arvind, please
yes.
give your number here. I missed out.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, please, Arvind. Thank you.
There was a Form C in which email ID was filled by the bank. The respondent has objected in NCLT that the email ID that is used for the authentication is not the email ID that is used by them. So NESL uses only the same email ID which is provided in Form C or registered.
Ma'am, NESL actually uses 3 email IDs. One is the Form C email ID in case of the Schedule 2 banks, and the MCA email ID as well as the registered email ID. So all the 3 email IDs are being used.
Then it is really deemed to be authenticated and the case sustained in court. So can we get this procedure online to produce as a evidence in some of the cases where the objections are raised?
Yes, ma'am. Arvind, you have the next screen of the ROD.
Yes.
Ma'am, what we will do is we will present you the screen where the ROD communications, the communication emails have been triggered. So I think that can give you a better idea. Like you will be getting all the queues of those emails, and from that you can pick it up. Yeah. So, ma'am, if you see here, the MCA email IDs have been also triggered, and it's only. So basically, ma'am, here the MCA email ID and the Form C email ID is same. That's why the MCA email ID has been triggered. And because the debtor is not registered with us, so that email was not available for us to trigger any email. So basically, you can refer to this part of the page where you can find the communication that has been done by NESL. Even in case where the emails bounce and we have taken it up with the RPAD process, you will be getting another communication link on the below that table where that letters dated are also been uploaded. Okay, on these dates the letters have been sent through RPAD, so you have a clear communication details about it.
Wow, thank you, madam. Thank you. You have helped me in a case. Any
In case
questions?
you people have any problem anytime, you please connect back and we are there to help you, please.
Wow, thank you. Any questions? So can we continue? Yes, please continue.
Yes, sir. 1 second, ma'am. I'll just switch on to presentation. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So apart from that, IU also provides 3 different types of alerts for any information submitter. So in case you are assisting one of your clients for filing of information for generation of ROD, and you have filed the information against them, be it a standard information also, once you submit an information against any corporate data on behalf of any of your clients, you will be part of that linkage with that CD. And if that corporate debtor defaults in any of the payment to any other creditor, any of the banks for that matter, all other debtors, all other creditors to that debtor will receive an alert up that this debtor has defaulted in one of their payments. So this is the first such alert which a creditor, even though his loan account is standard, he will be receiving such alerts here. And second, in case of applications to CARP, if at all an application to initiate CARP against that corporate debtor is submitted with the NCLT, that information, same information is forwarded to IBBI. And IBBI sends all applications received as on date to IBBI, and we take up those lists and communicate the same with all other creditors of that particular debtor, that an application for initiating CARP has been registered, and this is with respect to one of your debtors. And also the same way, if any public announcement is made, the same is also updated to the IBBA, and IBBA shares the information with us, and we will alert that one of one of a party to your debtor has initiated, and the same has been admitted, and IRP is appointed, and he has made a public announcement. So three instances of alerts are given. One is on default, one is on application to CARP, and the third is on public announcement. So, talking about the scenarios in which the ROD can help for recovery, or even prior to admission, how the creditors can use make use of information submission with IU as a means for their recovery. So this is the first scenario, just by simple submission of information. A simple submission by either OC or FC, which you can guide, and you can submit the financial information with the IU, and it triggers the authentication process. The two possible responses are either authenticated or disputed. So either admitting the liability or disputing the liability. And upon submitting that information and the authentication process is complete, the creditor will have access to the credit facility report of that IU. A sample of the credit facility report also, I'll be showing it after the presentation, which will give you the status of financial health of the debtor. So this just by a mere information submission against a debtor will give you access to the credit facility report, through which you can assess the financial health of the debtor, and you can decide on the future course of action. And this is amicable only when, this can happen only when there is a easy relationship between both the debtor and creditor. Scenario 2 is settlement prior to authentication. So this is not a submission of standard information. This is submission of a default information, wherein OCs and FCs submit a default information with the IU. This will again trigger the authentication process, which is for a standard submission only the authentication goes. For this default information, the intimation mail and 3 reminders are also sent, whether to authenticate or dispute the information. Then what happens is the debtor does not respond to the authentication mails, but chooses to settle the dues prior to the 3rd reminder mail. What will happen in that situation is the debtor will have to request the submitter that please update the financial information with the IU, because my credibility is in danger now. So I would wish to settle the dues with you, and he would request the submitter to update the financial information from default to standard. So this scenario gives an opportunity for settlement prior to the generation of ROD, and prevents the broadcast of information of default to other creditors. So this is one such scenario where settlement can happen prior to the 3rd reminder email. Scenario 3 is Settlement after ROD generation, the same. Filing of default information happens and authentication process is also complete. And information of default is broadcast to other creditors of the debtor that this person, this CD has defaulted in one of their payments to one of their creditors. And this would result in an opportunity for generation of ROD. So the record of default is available after the authentication is after the authentication process is complete. What happens is after the generation of ROD, the debtor now agrees to settle with the creditor. So once the settlement is made, the debtor should again request the submitter to update the financial information with the IU. Only then, if the submitter submits an updated information or the loan record closed information with the IU, the regularization of information will happen. So all this regularized status of any default account will be visible to other creditors, so that this information is updated. Scenario 4 is settlement after CARP application. So the same thing happens, filing of default information and authentication is also complete. Generation of ROD is also done. Application to initiate CARP is done. I have mentioned section 9, it can also be section 7 or 9 or 10, and 7 or 9. What happens is the creditor files an application to initiate CARP with the NCLT. So the settlement after the settlement is proposed after the application is filed with the Honorable NCLT. What will happen here is the debtor will request the submitter to withdraw the application and regularize with the information after submitting the fresh information. So the settlement happens after the application is filed. Okay, this is scenario 5, where settlement happens after admission. Same step of process happens till application to initiation of CARP and admission had happened. When the proposal of settlement happens, the settlement proposal comes after the admission and appointment of IRP. So there can be two scenarios in this, whether it can be prior to formation of COC or after formation of COC. So there are two possible scenarios where once the settlement has happened and the information is also updated, the debtor can apply and request for withdrawal of application with under Rule 11 if there is no form, if the COC is not formed, and after under section 12A, that is with the consent of 90% of voting from the COC, if the COC is formed. So these are the 5 scenarios. So to list out the status of ongoing scenarios, the information, the data is taken from the latest quarterly newsletter from IBBA. So out of all 8,002 cases admitted as on September 31, the total number of cases which were closed on appeal, review, and settled are 1221. So approximately 1/8 of the cases are under the possibility that they can be settled prior to closure of resolution plan. So ROD plays a vital role in withdrawal of CARPs as well. And out of all 1221, the reasons for withdrawal is also listed in the IBBA newsletter. That is, there are different scenarios like full settlement with the applicant, settlement with other creditors, or agreement to settle in future, which may also have resulted in withdrawal of the CARP. And also, if you can see, 54% of the cases, the total admitted claim is less than 1 crore. And listing down the supporting supporting publications as notifications, circulars, or amendments to the regulations, assisting, helping strengthening of ROD and the information submission with IU. IBBA had amended the IU regulations on 14th June 2020, wherein they have included a new clause, that is Regulation 21A, which makes it mandatory for the creditors to file the information, default information, before filing an application with NCLT. So it reads as 21A. Before filing an application to initiate corporate insolvency resolution process under Section 7 or 9, or as the case may be, the creditor shall file the information of default with the information utility, and the IU shall process the information for the purpose of issuing ROD in accordance with Regulation 21. So Regulation 21 is the authentication process, and Regulation 21A makes it mandatory that all applications should be mandatorily filing the default information with information utility. And this is an office order issued by NCLT on April 3rd, 2023, that all petitioners under Section 7 and 9 should comply with Regulation 21A, that is acceptance and receipt of information under IU regulation, and produce the record of information utility, NESL certificate, as they have mentioned, though they are mentioning about ROD only there. That is the record of default. This is an office order issued by the NCLT, and also there was a general order issued by NCLT on 16th through a circular on 16th June 2023, advising as a matter of general guidance that the ROD issued by information utility shall be appended with the applications filed under Section 7 or 9. So there is a circular office order by NCLT and a general notification issued by IBBA also. So these are the recent amendments as on 13th August 2024 that have been made. So Regulation 21(2), authentication of default, has a minor change wherein the it is mentioned as deliver the information of default to the debtor seeking confirmation of the same within 7 days. Prior to 13th August amendment, it was 3 days, but it was thought that 3 days is not good enough for the debtor to respond to the mails, or they miss out to respond at 3 days interval. So to give a longer duration for debtor's response, they have increased the 3-day duration to 7 days now. So reminding the debtor at least 3 times for confirmation of information of default. In case of the debtor does not respond, allow 7 days each for the debtor to respond. This is 21(2) authentication of default, and 21(3) proviso reads that provided further that in case of financial creditors, which are banks included in second schedule, when a debtor disputes a part of the default amount or such dispute in respect to non-financial information, then the IU shall record the status of authentication as authentication in respect of undisputed default amount. So there is 5 CR in default as submitted by the creditor, and the debtor disputes 2 CR. So the proviso allows that the 3 CR, which is the undisputed default amount, for that amount, an ROD can be generated and be shared with it. And as Regulation 21A, verification of information before issuance of record of default also, it says the IU shall verify the key details such as email addresses of the debtor, document showing proof of debt, latest acknowledgement of debt, and proof of default before issuance of ROD. So all these were done at the registry level or at the member level at the NCLTs earlier. Now the response has been further delegated to information utility, that IU has to take care that all the information such as the email, document showing proof of debt, latest acknowledgement of debt, or the proof of default should be verified by the IU. And in case the debtor disputes part of default amount, or such debtor shall provide the reasons for the dispute and upload evidence for the dispute also. And the third, the Regulation 21A3 is the same, that whenever there is a dispute in terms of the total default amount, whatever amount is balance remaining as the undisputed amount, for that ROD can be issued. This is the recent amendment. And coming from apart from the recent amendments, I also want to highlight on other two services by NESL, which is the digital document execution and the electronic bank guarantee. So to briefly speak on DDE, so the digital document execution platform is a platform under the guidance of Ministry of Finance and IBBA as a part of Ease of Doing Business initiative. And DDE is a fully automated contract execution platform wherein multiple parties are allowed to enter into agreements through e-stamping and electronic signature, e-sign and e-stamp facility. And we have 27 state governments who have permitted digital e-stamping of NESL. The e-sign happens through the Aadhaar-based OTP or biometric or dongle-based DSC. So it is a completely paperless process with e-signature. Provides 24/7 operation where it does not limit to the banking. Our clients are mostly banks and NBFCs as of now. So the execution of contracts is not limited to banking hours now. It can happen 24/7, and the storage of all information is with NESL, so it is secure in terms of information security as well, and it is a cost saving initiative also. To just highlight the differences or advantages of digital signatures with traditional signatures, the authenticity, the authentication, the identity of the parties signing of the document is clear, both the parties, along with the date and timestamp of when and where the time signing happened, and also integrity. The document cannot be changed unilaterally after the signature is affixed, because this document, once it is finalized and signed by both the parties or all the multiple parties, it gets securely stored with NESL. So it can be retrieved at any point in time and can be shown that there is no scope for alteration in the documents. And repudiation also. The parties cannot deny that the acceptance of terms and conditions of a document at a later stage, since this is a digital document. And coming to the e-bank guarantee feature, the electronic bank guarantee is an initiation basis the CVC suggestion, Central Vigilance Commission, and it was launched in association with the Indian Banks Association, IBA. And this is also part of the Ease of Doing Business initiative, and this is a substitute for paper-based bank guarantee, which can also be e-stamped and e-signed and retrieved digitally. So this EBG also happens in our DDE platform, and this is completely paperless, and all life cycle of a bank guarantee happens electronically here. Invocation and even for applying it after access is also online through. And all resolution professionals, in case of like for resolution process, while inviting resolution plans, they can invite or accept EMDs through electronic bank guarantee format, so that there is no scope for no fraudulent or fake bank guarantees being presented presented to the resolution professional. I hope. And these are the a very small list of partners whom with we are associated, and providing services in terms of IU, DDE, and electronic bank guarantee. We got recently associated with Zerodha, and multiple other stockbrokers are also in line for getting into association with us. Yes. So that is all about the presentation. So in case if you would want a small demo on how information submission happens at the portal, I can pass it over to Suparna ma'am again.
Yes, sir. Please, please.
Thank you, Arvindan. And I'm just requesting my counterpart, Ms. Shobha, to share her screen. And we have a small presentation in which we have captured some of the screenshots which will display how to register as an entity on the NESL portal. So this is the login page basically. Here, what you have to do is in the login page, you have to enter, you have to select from the drop down menu as the entity user, and then you are required to submit, fill in the
Screen is not visible.
Hello?
The website screen is not visible.
It is visible to
Just a
us.
second.
Okay, it is just showing the
Is
NESL
the
partnerships
not
and
visible?
collaborations.
No, it is
For me, it is
visible.
visible.
It
And
is
for
visible.
everyone, it
Now
is
it is
visible.
It's
Ah,
visible. It's visible.
Maybe
visible.
there's a
One
lag
second.
and it's getting uploaded.
Okay, okay. Yes, ma'am.
Achha, Suparna, need to have we addressed the queries which they had put. So then keep at least 10 minutes for that. So try to finish by say 45 or so, 5:45 or so. So you can, what do you suggest, Tina? The queries also need to be addressed, right?
Queries, yes, sir, definitely. It is already addressed. Some of the queries they have addressed in between the session also.
Okay, fine.
So,
But keep 10 minutes for that. For the end,
yes,
Yes.
just serially will address.
yes.
Go ahead, Suparna. Suparna?
So once you put in your PAN number of your entity, you come into this page where you have the submissions. So you will be going to this submission in which you have the drop down menu and you can select the new submission thing. And in that, you can select the type of your debt. It can be your financial debt or your operational debt. So in case you are a financial creditor, you will be selecting the financial credit, and you will be getting a subtype of the debt where you can mention it as a CCOD or a working capital or a demand loan. The type of your debt, you can classify it here. Here you have to submit the information of the business date. That is the information as on, like suppose you want to provide the information as on 31st of December 2024. So you would be mentioning that business date over here. The next column you would be in the next field you would be mentioning the companies. These are the portions which would be actually auto populated because you have logged in through that PAN, so it will be auto populated. And next would be your relation with the entity. So here, because you are the financial creditor, so it will appear the relationship as creditor. And then we go ahead with the details of the debtor. So here you would be mentioning the name of the debtor, the address, so the name of the debtor and the relationship as the debtor, and then the address, whatever the registered address is, the PIN number and all the communication address. And then we come to this legal constitution where the if it is a private limited company or it is an LLP or whatever the constitution of the company would be, it will be mentioned. Here you have to submit the SIN number if it is available. The PAN is a mandatory field and you have to submit that information. In case if it is a default which is getting submitted, then in that case you would be required to fill the email ID, which is a mandatory requirement in case of a default submission. In case it is a standard information submission that you are doing, in that case PAN, the email ID is not a mandatory thing. If you have any guarantors detail, you can have these, you can fill in these guarantors detail part. Otherwise, you can directly go to the debt information. Here you would be filling in all the information related to the debt. It's a financial debt you have already previously mentioned, so it will get auto-populated here. Fund base or non-fund base, it is a secured or an unsecured loan. Here you would be referring to the debt number, that is whatever the account number is in the books of accounts, you would be mentioning that, the contract date, and then you will have the sanction reference number with which it has been identified, the starting date of the debt, then it will be the facility name, like OD's cash credit or demand draft, demand loan or term loan, whatever it is. And here you would be mentioning the currency of the debt. Then here you are required to submit the sanctioned amount, and then the drawing bar, if any, and then the lending arrangement, if there is a consortium or whatever the type might be, the rate of interest, the tenor, and if it is a kind of term loan, you can always fill in the information regarding the repayment frequency. Next comes to the security information. That is, what are the securities that have been that has been mortgaged or pledged against this facility. And then comes the last part, and that is the default information. In case there isn't a default, means you want to submit the information as a default, then in that case you are required to submit this. So you'll have to mention here the date of default, which is the date when the default had occurred, the total outstanding amount on the reporting date, the defaulted amount, the days it is past due, the last repayment when it happened, the last amount of repayment, and the date of last AOD. This is a very important field that needs to be filled. And then you have the date of filing the suit, if any pre-existing thing is there, and then you can submit it.
Thank you, Suparna. Is it over? Can we continue with our question answer session? Can we start
Yeah.
our session?
If
Okay.
anybody has any question regarding the filing, can ask us the question.
Yes, all the questions we will take up now.
Yeah, please.
So all the participants are requested, kindly ask the question. They have dropped some questions in the chat box also. Yes, PPT will be shared. CA Pankaj. Sir, you can ask your question.
Ma'am, should I share the screen or?
Yes, this questions also we will take, and open participant question will also take, which are present here.
Okay.
Yeah, my query is regarding this updation of details, whether there's any Excel-based utility wherein the multiple records can be uploaded.
Sir, I would request Rao sir to answer. Our complaints head, Mr. U. Venkatrao sir, is also there. I would request sir to answer.
That covers our third point, right?
Yes.
So uploading multiple invoices for ROD.
Yes.
Yes. So who is there to address that?
In case of this multiple invoices, there are two scenarios. In case you have different date of defaults, in that scenario, it is always preferred that you can separately upload the invoices and separately submit the information of default also. Reason being, in such a scenario, what will happen is based on your invoice number, you will be getting the UDI number. UDI means the loan reference number. So it will be easy for you to identify that all the invoices have been uploaded, and at the same time you would be getting a separate ROD against all those invoices, because there can be all possible chances that the date of defaults in all those invoices would be different. In case you do not need any requirement of separate invoices to be uploaded, because maybe that all the invoices together add up to the threshold limit of 1 CR and above. In such a scenario, you can upload them in one go as a continuous document. So multiple upload of documents is possible.
Thank you. Now, first question from the list, Mr. Arvindan.
So may I ask one question?
Yes, yes. Who is there? Sandeep ji. Yes, yes. Please, please.
So, madam, actually, my question here is that, like as I said, that as per section 21A or IA, which I understand, so as per this very regulation, detail of default is to be uploaded, or this is to be updated. And later on, this gets authenticated after the process which is followed. So my question here is that, VRPs or IRPs, so what we face is that, like, if I actually receive a claim from a financial creditor, so I do see over there that there are certain documents which are attached to that very claim form. So those are not clearly, I would say, legible. So sometimes there are various photocopies, and those very photocopies or those documents of default, or maybe that contains the complete chain of what is actually sanctioned to the borrower. And afterwards of that, there are numerous deeds or deed of guarantee, like maybe a title deed register or various other documents which are actually provided to IRPs and RPs. So my question is, and most of the times, those very documents are not clearly legible or not understandable. So whatever documents are filed with NESL, so do the NSCL have the complete list of the documents, debt documents, which are those available with NESL? Complete detail of the documents, complete chain of documents. So is it mandatory on the creditors to upload the complete chain of debt documents with NESL?
Okay,
so what
let
kind
me
of
just
documents are to be
Sandeep ji,
made available? So that is my
Sandeep
question here.
ji, Sandeep ji, 1st October, from 1st October onwards, regulations were amended, and now it is incumbent on the information duty that NESL to verify the documents. So 1st
Fine, sir.
October onwards, NESL you will get all the documents. Because without the documents, I will not be able to issue an ROD.
Okay, so
So
let us say a facility is actually provided to the borrower, and there is a default afterwards, and now there are various actually deed of guarantees, like document of personal guarantors are also there. So so assets which are mortgaged by the personal guarantors are also there. So will there be complete chain of documents, including the personal guarantor documents?
No. See, it's like this. We are required to only take documents to establish debt and default. Only these two documents.
So of the CD
documents
only.
will not be there.
Of the CD only.
Of the CD. Only debt and default. And if there is a AOD, so that AOD will be there. So these three things would be there. I think these three things would be relevant for you also, but other documents will not be there. But incidentally, as IP, you have right to access the records of a CD. So there you not get the documents, but there you get details of the security.
Okay.
Documents you will not get there, but you will get the details of the security. But for an IP, that could be useful. There's some security you have to take custody.
So why can't the RP maybe get the complete document, complete
No,
set
it's
of
not with
documents?
us. Okay, whatever is there, you have full access.
Okay.
But it will not be there because the law doesn't make it mandatory. See, once you are IP of a CD, you have full access to the record of the CD. I think there was a query here also. If somebody has some challenges, please contact Suparna. Suparna can also give a mobile. So you can please freely contact, because IP is in a very privileged position. IU is not a public credit repository, but IP is in a very privileged position to get access to these records of the CD in the information.
Sir,
So,
actually, what I see in my various cases, so I have got like bank statements and other documents, and the chain of documents are there. But usually those very documents are not very up to mark, I would say. So if information utility, so if there is a change in the regulations and information utility gets the documents from the bankers, and those very documents are provided at the right time. So I think this will be beneficial to IRPs and RPs.
Yeah. So as of now itself, this regulation was amended on 13 August 2024, which requires the information utility to insist for documents related to debt and default.
Okay.
So these documents would be there.
Would be there. Okay. But we will get only the documents pertaining to security interest. So we will get the details of security interest, not the documents.
No. There are two things. Documents related to debt and default will be there.
Okay.
Security interest documents will not be there, but details will be there. It's for a different purpose. For example, if you want to take custody, you want to know where the assets of the corporate debtor could be. So all that details will be there. The documents may not be there. Will not be there.
Sir, what about the properties which are not mortgaged to
That will not be there. That will not be there, but that will not be there. But you can get the addresses. Addresses would be there if the corporate debtor has provided. But you're absolutely right. Properties which are not mortgaged will not be there.
Sir, in
Only
one
properties.
of my case, actually, one of my
only
case,
properties are mortgaged.
I could find out three properties which are high value properties which were not mortgaged to the bank, and which were and there is a total non-cooperation from the side of the suspended management. But somehow I could get the addresses and get the details of those very properties from the litigation records. So
the addresses you'll get. Addresses might be there. Addresses might be there. Addresses will be there.
Mr. Hari Prasad, you have some question?
Yeah. Sir, good evening, sir. It is a small submission, but nowadays the resolution professionals and the liquidators, they are getting regular emails regarding the updation of the defaults. So being a technology-driven and technology-oriented thing, can it be done from the back end? Like once the status is changed to the CIRP or liquidation, can that automatic trigger and automatic emails to the RP or the liquidator, can they be stopped or deactivated? It will save a lot of time for the liquidators and the resolution professionals.
Sir, the way like we addressed the same query earlier also, we would request the moment you are being appointed as an IRP for any of the CDs, we would request you to kindly send us an email, and we will definitely take care of it, and we will inform the financial creditor not to update any further records pertaining to that CD.
So that is what instead of giving the RP and the liquidator sending you the NCLT order, can it be done at the back end that once the status is changed to CIRP or liquidation, it is well known fact that already the orders have been sent to the MCA. Can it be done from the back end?
So backend can be done only when there is an information inflow.
Information is already there in the MCA portal. No, the status will be changed automatically. The liquidator is appointed, the RP is made a CEO. It is a known fact.
Okay, sir. This question is already taken up. Now we'll proceed to some question in the chat box. Please share details on long-term data storage service as per requirement, say 8 to 10 years. And the same has been covered in the issues identified by the participant, that is cost of data storage and coverage period. Sir, can you tell us something about that?
Arvindan.
Yes, ma'am. So, ma'am, so just to show you the comparison of the cost between, I hope my screen is visible. Just to show a comparison of the different service providers for data storage and NESL. So Dropbox, Amazon, Microsoft Azure, and Google Cloud are the alternatives to NESL storage option. But what happens is NESL is slightly costlier than Amazon, Azure, and Google Cloud, because Google Cloud and Dropbox does not have servers in India. So as per regulations, we are mandated to store the information in India at two different servers, that is DC and DR. So data center and data recovery. And also for upload, we have a limitation of 5 TB. Download is not free in any of Amazon, Microsoft, or Google. You have to pay for upload And also, like the same way, to download information also you have to pay it. But in Dropbox, it is not there. So you upload and you pay for upload, and download is free. But it is costlier than NESL. And also, all services provide backup, and also uh, firewall is also available at the same cost. So what NESL quotes for 8 years of data storage, that is post completion of CARP and liquidation, is amounting to 50 rupees per GB per year. That is, at the maximum, it would cost you 400 rupees per GB to store information for a period of 8 years, and you need not pay it. No, it is not a staggered payment. It is an upfront payment at a minimal cost, at a minimal size of 5 GB. Also, you can take it up and you can avail the service. It might feel like it is slightly costlier than Amazon, Azure, or Google Cloud, but the download is free here. You pay it upfront one time, and the data is stored in India. So these are all the advantages compared to other service providers in this area. Just wanted to highlight it by showing the table.
Wow, great, great. Now we can understand that there is a download cost there,
Yes,
but here we don't have. So anyhow, it compensates the additional cost.
yes.
Then, sir, there is a next question. Need for NESL portal demonstration. How we can use the data storage facility? How can Rajvi register for that? If possible, in few minutes, whatever we have left
Ma'am,
with.
I will give you the email address to which participants can show interest. We will contact them directly, and then we can give them a demo, ma'am. I'm just giving the detail.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. And routing of CRP through information utility. First question. All the CRP cases, regardless of their size, must be routed through information utility, and associated cost should be included as CRP cost. If that could be made mandatory, it will be very good for all of us. If NESL can be the only platform where we could upload the data, because then will be one solution, one point solution for everything.
MD sir, would you like to answer that? This is
The
pure.
law needs to be amended for this.
Yes.
Till the time the law does not provide for, so this cannot happen. If the law is amended, we are equipped for that.
Yes, yes, sir, because we also, if some package has been given for this to us as an IP, either we will share any email ID. If you share, we can ask for a package, because we certainly are very much concerned about the safety and confidentiality of data, and NESL of course is the most reliable for us. So we would like to use that facility. So if you could provide us a mail ID where all the IPs can contact for data storage, we will do the needful.
Yeah, that will do.
Then monthly reporting and claim rejections. That I think we have already covered.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, yes. Lack of data assignment option for personal guarantors.
Ma'am, in this case, we would like to address that we are already working upon it, and maybe like within a very short period.
No, there's nothing there in it. Yeah. If you are IP in a personal guarantor, simply give the details of the personal guarantor. Whatever data is there, you can access it. It's as simple as that. You just have to give your IP order, and that is true for any assignment, whether it's corporate data or personal guarantor. You just have to give the details of your order, and whatever information is there with us, you can access, whether it is a personal guarantor or it's a CD.
Yes, it was shown to us that while feeding the data of the corporate data, the personal guarantor details are also feeded there, right? So that only will be accessible to us.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Banks frequently update their data with the IU, resulting in high volume of emails requiring authentication by users.
I think this question was asked earlier. So I think somebody can address it. Suparna, you'd like to talk? Suparna or Arvind, anyone can address.
Sir, we addressed it, and I would again request, like, if whenever the CRPs are like initiated, we would request if you can just drop us in one email, and we will definitely work on it.
And just I'd like to supplement here. See, here the law says that information has to be updated. So my request is this forum can also take up with IPNet, can also take up with this thing IBBI. In fact, let us also write to IBBI when CRP is initiated, then IP should not be required to, the financial creditor should not be required to update. Unfortunately, the law is silent on this. So that's why financial creditors or operational creditors, mainly financial creditors, keep on updating the information because the law is silent on this. So Varna, please note that let us take up with IVBA also that IVBA can issue a clarification that where CIP has been initiated, then financial creditors are not required to update the information. I think earlier also somebody had posed this question and he was very right. And IP has so many other challenges. And then after that, he's also he received this mail asking him to authenticate the data. And to be honest, that has no meaning because as an ICD, all the claims on the CD are frozen. So even after that, if he updates the information, it doesn't matter. But because the law provides for it, and see what happens in the banks, it is automated process of submission. So that's why the submission happens. So we can also take up with IPBA, and this forum could also take up with IPBA so that after CRP initiation, updation should not be required.
Correct.
Yes.
Any other questions from the participants, or should we wind up the question answer session?
Sir, in addition to that, even NESL can inform the creditors, whoever they are, the borrowers can be informed that if any CRP is in process, you please do not update.
See, as Suparna said, she will inform. But creditors say, Baba, this is the law, I have to comply. Where does the law say that I don't have to submit? You tell me.
Yes.
Understand, sir.
Any other questions? So now I must conclude. Thank you for the question answers. All the answers have been very satisfactory and we have been enlightened with so many things. Thank you. Now I invite Mr. Rajesh Shah, member of IPNet West, to announce the next webinar of IPNet.
Hi, friends.
Tina, if you permit, then I'll exit. Huh? Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for your
we
presence.
need only 2 minutes of yours. We need to extend our formal vote of thanks, sir. Just 2 minutes, sir.
नहीं हम आपके लिए जितने समय के लिए आप कहेंगे आपके साथ हैं कोई इसमें प्रॉब्लम नहीं. I didn't want to be privy to something where I'm not there. That's all.
I'm sorry to interrupt, sir.
Yes.
बोलिए.
Yes, Mr. Rajesh Shah.
Yeah. Friends, join us for a free webinar, Unlocking the Role and Services of IPA for Insolvency Professionals in India, a practical guide for insolvency professionals, on 11 January 2025 at 4 p.m. Our chief guest would be Sri Rahul Madan, lead speaker, Triple IPI. In association with IP Foundation Insolvency Professional Association, get actionable insights and expert guidance on leveraging the function of Triple IPI for your professional growth. Don't miss out on this opportunity. Over to you.
I request Mr. Sandeep Chitkara to offer certificate of appreciation to our lead speaker. Mr. Sandeep, are you there?
Yes, I'm there. I'm here. I'm here only.
Please, please.
1 second.
Yes.
Sir, please accept this token of appreciation. Is it visible?
Sir, thank you.
Yes, visible. Thank you to our lead speaker. Thank you for enlightening us. Now I would request Mr. Parag Singhal to offer vote of thanks.
Thank you, Tina. Good evening, everyone. I'm Parag Singhal, General Secretary of IPNet, and I'm duty bound to extend my vote of thanks today. And for that only, I requested MD Saab to please spare 2 more minutes with us. Sir, today's event has added to our knowledge of the power and use of IU. It felt like the start of something truly significant, a movement that will shape our professional community in the years ahead. First and foremost, I extend my heartfelt thanks to our Honorable Chief Guest, Shri Debajyoti Ray Chaudhary, Managing Director and CEO, National E-Governance Services Limited. Sir, your presence added immense value to this occasion. Your insightful words and vision have inspired all of us to think bigger and strive for excellence. Thank you for gracing us with your time and wisdom. I would also like to thank President of IPNet, Dr. Ashish Makija in absentia, for his relentless dedication, in absentia as of now, for his relentless dedication and visionary leadership, which will continue to make IPNet a platform of unparalleled importance. His able guidance gives us the confidence to reach newer heights. A special note of thanks goes to our keynote speaker, Aravanthan, SE, for insightful deliberation on the role and functionalities of IU, legal and practical usefulness of IU in the IBC ecosystem, sir. My sincere thanks to moderator IP Tina Saraswat Pandey for the smooth and successful conduct of the webinar and for her untiring commitment for the success of the same. I would also like to extend my sincere appreciation to Transition and the technical support team. You worked tirelessly behind the scenes, ensuring that everything smoothly runs. Your hard work is the foundation of successful events like this one. Thank you for your unwavering support and flawless execution. Finally, my sincere thanks to everyone who participated today. Your presence, enthusiasm, and active engagement have made this event truly remarkable. Together, we are building a community that will not only foster professional growth, but also drive innovation and collaboration in the insolvency profession across India. Thanks once again to all present, and looking forward to many more opportunities of learning on IPNet platform. And before I conclude, I would request Tina ji to kindly ensure that all the mementos and certificates are physically delivered to the respective dignitaries. Thank you very much.
Parag ji, I would also like to present a memento to Tina ji for moderating this very session very well.
Thank you, Tina ji. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you, MD sir. Thank you, Suparna madam. Thank you, all the team members of NESL and speaker. Thank you so much. Namaste.
Thank you, Tina ji.
Thank
you.
This was a wonderful and learning session.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you. Thank you, Sandeep ji.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
you, everyone. Yeah.